we're good to go. So Tracy, that means you're kind of like Ed McMahon. So you let us know when we're on. You're not old enough to know who Ed McMahon is, but that's okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Sheriff McAndrew called me, and he's got a family medical thing, so I knew he wasn't going to be here today. But it looks like is Commissioner Shermack, thank you, coming?
I just saw him.
I would think he is. He was here for our commissioners meeting this morning.
Okay. All right. So we'll give him a minute.
Hold on, I'll go check. Hold on.
Yeah, there's a way. Maybe I could do that right here.
I've been involved in a settlement conference since 9 o'clock this morning, going in and out of breakout rooms with faces and lawyers and parties. And
those lawyers like to talk a lot, don't they, Judge?
Only the ones who get paid by the hour.
Paid by the word, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
That would be a better structure.
There he is.
There he is. Okay.
Sorry, technical difficulties.
Quite all right. Quite all right.
You know what I say, Judge? It's the clients that give us all those facts to talk about. So that's really where it starts from.
Well, but normally you often hear the facts are not in dispute, so there's not too many facts to talk about. Okay, Commissioner Dominic is back, so we're ready to roll. So I will ask her. Maybe not. She's in the middle of something to eat. So I'll ask Mr. DeBillio to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I don't want to do that to you, Debbie. So Harry, would you lead us, please?
Yes, I will, Your Honor. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The meeting's been called to order. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the meeting minutes from the January meeting? Assuming that you have, I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
And a second on the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The meeting minutes from January are approved. Tracy, anybody from the public seeking to address the board on agenda items?
We received emails, but no agenda item emails.
Okay, all right. So we'll go to the first motion on the agenda, 21-2008, a motion to approve all current payables for the Community Corrections Center and the prison. I received those. I trust everybody else did and had an opportunity to review them. And if so, I'll entertain a motion to approve the current payables.
Motion. Oh,
And a second?
I'll second.
Okay, on the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The current payables for the CCC and the prison are approved. So we'll go to Mr. DeBillio and your report, please, if you will, please.
Yes, Your Honor. My controller's report for the month of January 2021. The controller's office reviewed the prison inmate and canteen account reconciliations, which were prepared by the prison business office for the month of January 2021, and found no discrepancies between the reconciliations and the bank statements. The balance in the inmate account was $449,751.30 as of January 31st, 2021. The balance in the canteen checking account was $566,566.26 as of January 31st of 2021. And in addition, as of January 31st, the canteen account owned two certificates of deposit, one valued at $15,000 and the other at $132,200. $272.10, totaling $147,272.10. And that concludes my controller's report.
Thank you, Controller DeBillio. Any questions on the controller's report? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve it.
Motion.
Do I have a second
Second.
on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The controller's report for January 2021 is approved. Next, right on time comes Mr. Jeffers for the Community Corrections Center report, item 21-2010 on the agenda. Mr. Jeffers, welcome.
Good afternoon, Judge. How are you today?
I'm fabulous. Thanks for asking.
Great. The Community Corrections Report for January 2021, Item 1. Adult house arrest had 134 participants and juvenile house arrest had 12 participants. Item 2, the program's revenues for the month of January totaled $47,845.53. Item 3, the program's expenses totaled $69,599.09. The program's completions were 36. The program's violations were 4. The program's outstanding warrants are 4 still for work release and 4 for house arrest. And since it's being the first month of the year, the budget report for overtime is 0%, expenses are at 6%, and revenue is at 8%. That concludes the report, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Jeffers from anybody? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Community Corrections Center report.
So moved.
Second.
Have a second on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Jeffers.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day, Board.
Thank
We
you.
hope to. And we'll move on to item 21-2011, the Warden's report. Warden Betty.
Good afternoon, Board. How's everyone today?
Good, thanks.
The in-house population, the average daily population for January was 599 inmates. 437 were county inmates. As of February 10th, we had 583 inmates. 519 were adult males, 4 were juvenile males, and 60 were adult females. The population of U.S. Marshal Service detainees on February 10th was 158. The overtime and out-of-county board reports are attached. Staffing update. Currently, our correctional officers' numbers break down to uniform staff on shift, 168 full-time, out on workers' comp, 3, FMLA, 1, with 57 with the intermittent FMLA, 1, vacancies, 7.
Bless you.
Thank
Bless you.
Thank
Bless you.
Cut, you picked that up on Zoom, huh? Wow. Good thing I turned away. Sorry, Warden.
Oh, that's quite all right. The hiring process, we're in the process of reviewing applications and interviewing candidates for correctional officer positions. At the conclusion of the process, we're hoping to hire qualified candidates and to have them attend our 5-week basic training course. Once completed, the newly hired officers can go on active duty. The entire process from interview through training should conclude by early to mid-April. For the budget, as of January 31st, our revenue was at 9% and our expenses was also at 9%. Inmates at or past their minimum dates, a total of 7. 2 submitted home plans and are awaiting parole. 2 have no home plans. 1 has had his parole denied due to an unacceptable home plan, and 2 have been remanded to serve the balance of their sentences. Extraordinary occurrence reports. There were 6 in the month of January. On January 3rd, a county inmate was observed to have cut his forearm and chest in a suicide attempt. The inmate's wounds were administered to by the nurse, and the inmate was placed in a camera cell for observation. This inmate was referred to the prison psychiatrist for follow-up treatment. On January 9th, a county inmate was found with his bed sheet tied around his neck, and he was threatening to commit suicide. Staff were able to enter his cell and cut the sheet off of him. The inmate was then placed into the ERC, the emergency restraint chair, for his safety. On January 12th, a county inmate on a suicide precaution watch, repeatedly covered his cell's camera with food products from his dinner. The inmate continually expressed suicidal ideations to staff during this time period. After this occurred several times, staff decided to place him into the ERC so that staff could observe the inmate without obstruction of the camera. 4, later in the night of January 12th, the same inmate informed the prison psychiatrist of his desire to harm himself and how he would go about doing it. The psychiatrist then ordered placement into 4-point humane restraints. On January 14th, a newly committed county inmate began to experience significant hallucinations that resulted in very erratic behavior from the inmate. Due to the severity of this inmate's actions, it was determined that placement into the emergency restraint chair was necessary and warranted for the safety of the inmate and staff. And on January 20th, the county inmate was observed to be in an apparent unresponsive state in his cell. Staff entered the cell to check on this inmate, and upon removing the blanket that he had covered himself with, the inmate struck an officer with a closed fist several times. The inmate was then restrained and placed into the ERC due to his aggressive behavior. PREA, there was only one PREA investigation completed in the month of January. It was an allegation of inmate on inmate sexual misconduct. This allegation was deemed unsubstantiated, and the reports related to the investigation have been forwarded to the district attorney's office. And this concludes my report.
Warden, what's the COVID situation like?
Currently, staff-wise, I have 0 out on COVID precautions, not a single staff member, which is great. Inmate population-wise, I don't have anybody what confirmed. I have some people, it's the winter time. People do get colds and flus. There's nobody here with a confirmed COVID case at this point in time.
All right. Anybody in isolation was suspected COVID or?
We have one individual who came in over the weekend that we've done a test on. We're waiting for results.
Okay. All right. Okay, how's the new medical provider?
Well, they've now been it's a month and 2 days. There's always bumps in the road. We're figuring out how they do things. They're figuring out how we do things. I have Deputy Warden Krista Purvis kind of running point on the situation, and she's doing a good job with that. The important thing right now is a good flow of communication between Wellpath and the prison.
Okay, and is that happening? Do you feel that you're getting a good flow of communication?
Yes.
All right. Does it seem like they're starting to get their sea legs?
Yeah.
All right. Good.
Considering how other prisons are doing, it seems like we're in pretty good shape as far as COVID is concerned.
I am knocking on wood now as you're saying that, Commissioner. Yes.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
Tim, before we adjourn after we stop this meeting, I would like to speak with you an executive session, if it's okay with the judge. I spoke with him a little bit earlier about the email that you sent out. Okay, so if you make yourself available.
Absolutely.
Okay, is that okay, Judge?
That's fine. We'll go into executive session before we adjourn. Okay. Okay, anybody else? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the warden's report for January.
Motion.
Second.
On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, and the warden's report is approved. So warden, stick around, please, if you will.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. We come now to the opportunity for the public to address. Tracy, you provided me with a couple of emails this morning. Any since that time?
No, just those 4.
Okay.
So the first one is from an Edison Jimenez. Hello, I would like to know if the inmate, this is from his mother. I would like to know if the inmate Edison Jimenez does not have a position in New Jersey. He already served time. They gave him probation because they do not give him an exit. Please let me know what is happening. I am his mother. She gives a telephone number and she's just looking for some information, so I could forward that on to the warden.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that has to go to his lawyer. We can't address the terms of his sentencing or any related things like that.
No, yeah, I mean, if it has to do with the length of the sentence or any kind of transfer back to New Jersey, which I think seems to be the essence of what she's getting. But I think, I don't mean to cut you off, David, but I think somebody should, Warden, if you would call her and just advise her that to have his lawyer make a request and see what the situation is. Or maybe she just needs to talk to the lawyer. It sounds like she doesn't have much communication with his lawyer. So
Yeah, I just don't want us rendering opinions on sentencing, especially when it's an application of interstate things and the time being served. But just steer in the right direction if you can, Warden, and I'll help you if there's a problem.
No problem. Thank you.
sounds good. Thanks, David.
Okay,
Tracy?
yeah, my second one is from Bev DeBarros. This is regarding female inmate medical care. She says, "Dear friends, I asked the following 2 questions for the January prison board meeting and neither one was answered. With only 55 female inmates, it should have been easy for the warden's office staff to answer the first question. I will ask the second one in a different way. What is the standard of care regarding annual physical exams for women who are incarcerated at the Lackawanna County Prison for more than a year? And are the standards different for federal, state, and county inmates? How many female inmates have been in the Lackawanna County Prison for more than a year? And if a woman remains at the Lackawanna County Prison for more than a year, will she receive an annual exam that includes a pelvic exam, pap smear, and a mammogram?" There was also a follow-up from Bev. She said that she sent this email then directly to the warden and she received a response that she wanted the board to hear, that WellPath will provide an annual exam to all on an annual basis, but then she's looking for answers on her remaining question.
And I think the question really, what she wants to know is how many adult female inmates have been there for more than a year. You have an answer for that, Tim?
Tim, you're on mute. There you go.
Yep. Yes, I do. We have, currently we have 5 female offenders who have been here for a year or more.
Okay. All right. So will you see to it that they get their exams, please? If they haven't already.
I was going to say, I will make sure that WellPath is aware of these 5 individuals and that they act accordingly. I know didn't we talk about this briefly last month with the question from someone from the public about annual exams for female officers? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
And my recollection is it was from Bev DeVaros and but you know, my recollection is also in the proposal that WellPath put forth, because I think it was also in the RFP that annual exams would be provided for anybody who was there longer than a year.
Yep.
Right.
So, okay. Anything else, Tracy? I think there was another one, right?
Yes, the final email I have is from Kenny Adams of Carbondale. And he says, "Hello, I'm wondering about the new medical company for the jail. I think I saw in the paper recently that Dr. Zaloga is gone and a new doctor is in. I heard that the new doctor has professional therapists that are going to work with the inmates. My question is, why is the county paying for other new therapists to work at the jail then? I heard the prison hired their own treatment therapists that just sit around and don't work. They take after the other prison counselors that don't do anything for the inmates. What is the point? Is it so that the commissioner's best friend can have a job? Don't you think that that is a total waste of taxpayer money? Or is that what the commissioner, Purvis, and Shanley talk about behind closed doors? How has management been working out at the jail with all of the new deputy wardens? It seems like one is terrorizing the place when the other 2 just sit in their offices all day. 2 deputy wardens, a few new treatment therapists, and a bunch of other inmate counselors that don't do anything. Is this new restructuring really working out, or are they just making it look good? that is a lot of people not doing anything and that have some pretty nice paychecks. And that's it.
I'd like to address this and then turn it over to Tim. Just on a couple things. Number one, there's a lot of accusations in this email that are unfounded. But the counselors aren't actual therapists. There's 10 prison counselors, but they're actually caseworkers, and they function in the sense that they help with the phone list, the home plans, making arrangements if the attorney requests a telephone call with the inmate, things of that nature. They don't provide any type of therapeutic benefit. Our specialists, we have 2 substance abuse mental health specialists and 1 substance abuse mental health supervisor. We have 600 inmates currently. Because of COVID, our population is down. The warden can confirm this, but usually we're up around 1,000 under normal circumstances. So while we do have a medical facility that's providing psychiatric attention to the inmates, it's impossible for them to see all of the inmates on a consistent weekly basis. So the specialists that we hired are making sure that all inmates receive the proper attention, and they are working in conjunction with the medical department to make sure that everyone, both suffering from mental illness and drug and alcohol issues, is being addressed. So that's that. And then with regard to the deputy wardens, the one who there's 3 different wardens. Shanley is the warden of security, so he is on the floor constantly because of the nature of his job. The other 2 are treatment and operations. I'm sorry. Okay. The other 2 are treatment and operations, so they would not be on the floor as much as Shanley would because they have different duties. But it's my understanding, and I'm going to have Tim talk about this. It's my understanding that the way we restructured it is working in a positive way, and that things are getting done, and that the prison is in much better shape. But I will let Tim speak to that.
Okay, that sounds like a cue. I agree. I agree with Commissioner Dominic wholeheartedly. We do have a behavioral health substance abuse team in place. They got in place. The last one was hired in early January. We're not talking a lot of time. We're talking about that department being in infancy stage, essentially. And what we're developing right now is a very comprehensive assessment so that at-risk individuals can get properly assessed, so that we could provide treatment to them, and so that we could provide a path on the way out the door for continued treatment, whether it be drug and alcohol treatment or mental health treatment. That's their primary functions. It does differ from the role of a counselor if anybody confuses them, because as Commissioner Dominic had pointed out, what the counselor's duties are, the other primary duty a counselor has is they kind of orientate a newly committed individual who doesn't have much experience in the criminal justice system as to what's coming next. Like, the first thing that happens is you have a preliminary hearing if you have new charges, and how that goes about. So there's no surprises for that individual. The counselors are excellent at providing that kind of a background so that the inmate knows what's coming up, and that kind of lowers their stress levels. Now, what everyone at the jails is, if there's individuals that have significant mental health or substance abuse issues, we're going to touch base with the substance abuse mental health team so that we get them on their radars. They're going to follow up on that, and they're going to work hand in hand with employees of WellPath. Yes, they have their own, I believe they're hiring two, I believe, behavioral health team members. They're going to work, they're going to fit like, we're going to have 5 fingers in that glove, which is a good thing. Our staff and their staff are going to work together for the same common goal. And that goal ultimately is the reduction of recidivism. And actually, I should say it's the treatment of the individual, which will result in a reduction in recidivism. That's our goal. Regarding the 3 deputy warden system, I'm a big proponent of that. It helps everybody. It helps delineate lines and fields of expertise. And it's really important. And most jails our size and bigger have 3 deputy wardens or assistant wardens: security, treatment, operations. They're three separate fields that need folks to focus on them. In the past, we had one, and that was very difficult for one person, or one person in conjunction with me, obviously, to be able to focus on it. So much that goes on here. And I think what people sometimes lose sight of is the fact that we are a small town in the city of Scranton. This small town has anywhere from 600 to 1,200 individuals living here, and we have to be able to provide everything that you need if you never leave your small town. And that includes, going to the library, getting your hair cut, getting 3 meals a day, getting seen by a nurse, and everything else you could possibly think of that goes with that while operating as a correctional facility. So it's very cumbersome.
Thanks, Tim.
No problem.
Okay. Anybody else, anything else? Trace?
No, that was it.
Okay. All right. Well, it's always interesting to me that somebody who seemingly doesn't have anything to do with the prison seems to know so much about the internal workings of the prison. But well, that's another discussion for another day. So do any of the members have any new business?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, if not, we'll go into executive sessions. So,
Your Honor, just briefly, I just wanted to apprise the board, and this is really indirectly associated with the prison board, but we've had some litigation resulting from the change of the healthcare medical provider here in Lackawanna County over the last month or so. In essence, we had to file for a preliminary mandatory injunction because an issue of tail insurance arose. And as I know Your Honor is aware, but those on the call, tail insurance is just the insurance to cover claims that are filed on a claims-made policy after the termination of the policy. So we did appear before the court, and that issue has been resolved preliminarily. The court did grant a mandatory preliminary injunction, which required Dr. Zaloga to procure 3 years of tail insurance, which he has done, and I have confirmed that that's occurred. Now, he's since filed an appeal, and that's going to be up before the Commonwealth Court, and I'll continue to keep the board apprised, but I feel very confident in the lower court's decision and their reasoning, and I don't anticipate any change in the injunctive relief that we've received.
But that tail insurance was paid for by Lackawanna County, correct?
That tail insurance was paid, Commissioner Notoriani, by Lackawanna County. Dr. Zaloga was requesting a 7-year tail at $1.3 million, and the court found, in conjunction with our argument, that a 3-year tail was more appropriate at a total cost of about $790,000. So there's about almost a $600,000 difference there.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Thank you.
okay, thanks, Frank.
Thank you.
Okay, Tracy, can you take us into executive session, please? Okay, we're now streaming live again. So we've concluded our executive session. So I'll entertain, unless anybody has anything else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all.